So American Dynamics is one of our brands that we offer. It's the video brand, and you can see here's the Intellex, the network client. Of course, everything is integrated in. We're on the 4.3 version of the system. The Intellex was founded and invented in the mid-90s, and so it now has a solid 15 to 16 years in the IP video market. One of the first on the actual market. We integrate from analog cameras to IP cameras. We have a wide integration of available cameras, as well as being able to integrate cross-platform into access control, as the example that we're showing here.
Intellex is still PC-based platform.
Intellex is a PC-based platform. We offer also an embedded system called a TVR, and we also are now launching here on the stand from American Dynamics a hybrid system. It is also a PC-based platform, but offers the ability to do either on an XP or, if chosen, also onto a Linux platform, the same software. So it is still a PC in the sense that you have either Windows or Linux on that same type of platform, which actually gives it the flexibility. The key, you'll see a lot of embedded systems around the show, but they're not very flexible to be integrated into an IT environment, managed with an LDAP system, these type of things, security, looking at virus control. These type of platforms on a PC platform gives you that ability. So for the larger and integrated systems, that's where you really see the advantage.
Okay, do you think still the PC-based will, how to say, will be on the top of the systems? I mean...
No, I don't. What I see as clearly, the PC system as a market will stay flat. The reason is that the embedded system price is so strong, it's such a price reduction that you're able to get a growth in that market. Where you're going to see the PC system continue to grow is in the integrated platforms. And so again, where you see what is in a one-to-one comparison might appear to be more expensive, in reality, the ability to integrate cross-platform into all of the LDAP system controls, the IT controls, these type of systems that the IT departments are looking for, you need this type of system to be able to integrate properly, and that's where you're really going to see the growth, is that integration.
In Russia, we estimate what for the money, the PC-based and non-PC is half.
It depends quite a bit on the system.
Of course, for the channels,
yeah,
because most of the non-PC systems is much cheaper. So for the channels, it's maybe 4 times more. What's the situation in America and Great Britain?
And when you say channels, do you mean the cameras? The cameras are more expensive. Exactly. And that's, so if you look at the total cost of ownership of any system, that's really the key. One of the mistakes that many people will make is they'll look at the individual component price and compare that to another individual component. But if you look at the lifetime of the quality, as an example, the hard disks, often in some of the DVR systems, you'll have a hard disk that isn't server qualified and hasn't been properly burnt in, so you have a higher fail rate. And if you look at the amount of times that you have to go out onto site, as a reduction in the margin on that project, immediately you can see the total cost of ownership makes a big difference on what components you choose, especially when you're looking at a larger system. So from my point of view, the pricing is often not compared properly on what the actual costs are from one system to the other.
Yeah, sure. And can you tell your video system or your integrated system, is it a closed system or it's open like a standard, and will you support some standard for IP like on VFOP-CA?
We already do, and we will continue to. So the answer is yes. It's an open system in 2 senses. It's open. We have an integration into the Active Directory management system, so for an LDAP management to be able to control both the security controls and also from the personal management. So if somebody leaves the company and they're taken away from the IT system, they will automatically be removed as a user right from the video system or the security system. It'll revoke their card privileges for an access control card. So that integration, that's one aspect of our openness, the LDAP integration. And the other side, on the camera side, OnVIF, we're an OnVIF partner in the United States, as well as here in Europe. We work closely to integrate all of our cameras into the OnVIF platform, and also from the IP integration side. So OnVIF is still developing. Currently, our IP mini domes are OnVIF. The IP speed dome, as you can see here, this is one of the here. These are coming into the OnVIF platform. We've integrated the basic OnVIF, but the integration needs to be expanded slightly and finalized to be able to get the final dome controls.
And the last question, what do you think about this growth of the speed of the growth of the IP video? What the current percent of relation between the analog video and IP?
Well, the IP is growing much faster. So if you look at the growth of the IP markets, and there's multiple segments, it's approximately 20% per year, where the analog is about 3 to 4%, maybe 5% a year. But of course, the analog market is also at least 5 to 7 times larger than the IP market. So in relative terms, on dollar per dollar growth, still the IP is higher, but not in the percentage growth that you would see a difference. So we're seeing quite a bit in the IP growth in the IP and video side. But again, I think the cross-platform is where we're seeing our strongest growth. So if you look at an integrated system, to be able to get a solid integrated system on an open back end, OnVIF, but also the LDAP, that's where we're seeing the highest growth, and I'd put that up into the 20–25%.
So how do you think when the IP will overbeat the analog?
Very good question. When will IP cameras, because really these are IP systems that we have today. This is an integration into an analog camera, but the real question is, when will an IP camera system to an IP recorder overtake an analog to an IP recorder? And I think that the advantage for an IP system are the high resolution, high quality of the video. And so when the requirements for that high quality digital zoom overtake, I'd estimate probably 4 or 5 years before the market will actually overtake, because you have to realize the analog, the IP recorder, but the analog camera market is quite a bit higher. So at most you're looking at 20% from an IP to an analog. So you have at least 5 times the total market size in the analog. So it's going to take a few years still, especially in the UK. In Russia, it'll come faster. If you look at the trends in Russia specifically, the IP trend is much faster because you don't have the large build of the analog systems. So the growth rate in Russia is much higher, and it'll come much faster. So if I was to look at Russia only, I'd say it might be very close. It might have 40%, 50% IP at this point. I'm not sure exactly. So maybe 2 years, and then you'd have an overtake. So it really depends.
Thank you very much.